Welcome back to old mate saying he's going to get things done and not getting things done. Let's have a look at what I didn't get done today. Oh, there's more bars. There's more bars in there. Those of you who've been watching this project, Abby the Barina, 1.6 16 valve motor in it originally in the front is actually still there. Oh, let's have a look at this powerhouse. Absolute mighty powerhouse that's in the front of this thing. Look at that. Look at that. If bird crap can make horsepower, this thing is loaded with power. She's great. We're not putting a turbo on that. We're not putting a supercharger on that. We're not doing anything with that. The owner is taking that and foxtrot Oscaring it somewhere else. And what is going in there, in amongst all the mess, sorry, it's a bit untidy at the moment, isn't it? Kawasaki ZX-10R motorbike motor. 1000 cc's, 200 horsepower, 14,000 RPM, fuel injected, quad throttle bodies. What's not to like about that? So that's going in there. That's going in the back of there. We've got Nissan 350Z suspension in the back of it, G35 Skyline, all those things are the same. So that's what's in the back of that, and people will be thinking that's quite heavy. That suspension set up there, to be honest, we haven't actually physically weighed it, but when you pick that up with no brake rotors on it, no brakes, that whole lot there as it sits in the car is lighter than the original big steel beam thing that it had in the back of it originally. So we won't be suffering too much of a weight penalty for that, for putting that independent IRS, we'll call it, in the back of this little Barina. The chassis, a few people made comments about this being a big heavy contraption, you know. From there, from the front of the seat plinth to the rear of the car, that entire section that I've made up and fitted in here, without the subframe attached to it and everything, that was 18 kgs. So it's not a biggie. It's not a lot of weight in the scheme of things. So, previous videos I talked about getting these boxes made in the back. And I got that one done, and I made that triangulated plate on the other side there. This bit here, and I hadn't had that one done, and nothing was welded onto the car. As you can see, I've put my A into G today, and we've had a pretty good day. The other box was made for the back there. Oh, my gimbal doesn't want to go around the corner. There we go. That was made. That was fitted, welded to the pipe, which is tube rather, which is not that easy on that other side there. It's quite close to the outside of the car, which is one of the reasons why I put the boxes in the way I've done it, to actually give you the access to get that welded properly without using some techniques that some people use to get in tight places. So they're all actually welded in. So there you go, all 4 boxes are attached to the car. A couple more welds to do. It's a bit stinky, to be honest, with paint on the back of the metal that you're welding to that you can't get access to. It makes quite a bit of fumes. I don't really want to do too much of it in one day. So there's a few little bits to finish off on the front. Is maybe an hour's work. It's not heaps. We made up the back stays. We fitted the back stays. Important to read the rules when you're making things like this. The rules say that that's got to have a minimum of 30 degrees with the vertical. It is quite steep, so I checked that. It's 35 degrees, so that's fine. That's okay. We're good there. We're attached onto the chassis that I made. Welded on there like that. Some people might say that the rules say that that's supposed to have a 3mm plate, and it's got to be, I think for the back stays, I think it's 60 square centimeters. The chassis is 3mm plate, so that is the plate that it's welded onto, is the actual chassis is, and it's much bigger than 60 square centimeters, so that should be okay. As I understand it, my conversation with Motorsport New Zealand some time ago, that was kosher. Let's hope they didn't change their mind, because then I'll be in there with the saber saw cutting the weld and giving myself 3mm of clearance and folding up a plate to go onto the outside and sticking that in. We won't be doing that. That's fine. That's good. So we still have to make the bracket for the steering column to attach that to our dash bar there. This one, and see, these windows have not been broken yet. It's amazing. They don't have I just why you hit my head? Why you do that? They are getting taken out and removed. That's all right. They're being replaced with plastic, so we didn't have to be careful about it. But look, see, they're not broken. It's good. Got to make some sort of doofer that goes in between here and there, so we can do away with all this, because that's quite flimsy. Even with the bolts tight, it's not particularly strong, because that's not what the Barina was all about when it was built. So we have to do that, finish off a couple of little bits in the front here, and I'm going to make some nice gussets in the door bars for him. Where is it? Is this the good one? Let's find out. That's the good one. Door bars. There's some sort of intersection there. One of them goes through and one doesn't. Right, so, and we'll go to about halfway like that. With a nice little lightning hole in there like that. And we'll get those done. I've been meaning to look online and see if somebody sells those pre-made to save me fluffing around looking at it from plan view. The ends here, you typically roll them around at the same diameter as the tube, as it makes a nicer job and it gives a nice tidy join in this area here. It's a bit hard to do when you don't have the right gear to do that. You have to make some bits and bobs up to do that, but I'm perfectly capable. So I'll have a look online, see if someone does them and they're real cheap. If they do and they're cheap enough, I'll buy them. If they're not cheap, I'll make them. I've drawn another face. Can you see the face? It needs finishing. We quite often draw faces here. There you go, it's a face. Look at that. Badass. Right, that's about it. That's what I've achieved today. I actually was out here for most of the day. It's a bit of sunburn going on. I should have put some sunblock on, my bad. But stoked. The back of the car is now quite a bit stiffer than what it was before, and it had sagged down and gave us zero clearance between plastic guards and tyres, because as I've said in previous videos, the chassis section isn't actually 100% attached as per what we want it to be when we're done and dusted. So some of these things had distorted a little bit with the weight sitting on it for a little while, and a whole lot had come up, and of course the body had come down and we were rubbing. But we can now, oh, it's a bit sore, but we can now push the car with one finger, which means it's not dragging. The noise you're hearing is our fuel lines down the bottom there, those blue fuel lines, which I'm leaving there because we've got to get fuel from the front of the car to the back of the car, so there might be absolutely no reason why he can't run those. That's over to him, the owner, when he gets into doing that sort of thing. Cool. Alright, so that can go out of the way for now, for tonight. We'll lower this down. I might have a wee tinker with that. It's a bit late in the day. That's probably lying again. It's probably closer to 5 than what that says. I'll see what I'll get up to with this. We've got a couple of cool things coming. Should be here for the next few days. So, that's that. Awesomeness. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Cheers, bye.